Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Total Biscuit. Just a quick vlog for you to keep you up to date on various things as always. So, why exactly hasn't there been a content patch over the last couple of days? That's actually because the guy that does the editing on it, i.e. Zook, who works for our company full-time, has moved over to the States. He's actually moved in with us for the time being. So he'll be working out of our home office, and we're just getting everything set up. It's taking a little bit of time. So he was in the air today, which meant that he couldn't actually edit anything or do any of the research and the usual graphic stuff that I'm utterly incapable of doing because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with Photoshop. So, as a direct result, we've had a couple of days of non-content patch, so that will hopefully get going again. We should have one on Friday. That's the intention at any rate. So, content's a little bit disrupted as a result of that. Zook does a lot of stuff with the channel. He does the uploading, he does the annotations, descriptions, as well as a lot of work with the actual content patch show. So, if he's not available, then things start to go a little bit wrong. So yeah, that's the explanation. That's why it's not going on at the moment, but it should be fairly helpful to have him over here, and hopefully it will result in us being able to work a little bit more efficiently. I should also point out that at the moment YouTube seems to be having some fairly serious processing problems. We've noticed stuff with the sub box over the last couple of weeks. As always, we recommend getting something like YouTube Video Deck, which is a nice add-on you can get for certain browsers, or alternatively, you can grab yourself a copy of the Cynical app, which is a free Android app, which tells you when new videos have gone up, as well as various other things, or just look at the main channel page. All of our show pages and playlists are always fully up to date, so as a result, it's very easy to find the new stuff. But the bigger problem right now seems to be that we've got huge processing times and numerous video errors resulting in incorrect processing. I'm looking at my Dota video right now at the time of this recording, and it only just went up to 1080p a full 7 or 8 hours after I actually uploaded it. It was stuck in processing hell for at least 6. So that's a bit of a problem. It's obviously going to slow down release time significantly. We like to get the videos up around European evening time, give or take. That seems to work pretty well for us, so that's what we shoot for. But right now we're missing it horribly, so big apologies for that. We'll try our best to fix that up. Not that we can really do anything about it. I suppose we can yell at YouTube. That's probably the best we can do. Also, just a quick reminder for those of you who don't know, the TGS podcast actually renamed itself to the Co-optional Podcast and is currently in its 3rd episode. You should be seeing the next episode of the show come up today, and that's going to be on youtube.com/Polaris. That's actually now on a Thursday. We've moved the live show to Tuesday so that it's not clashing with a few things. It was clashing with stuff like the Rooster Teeth live show, which we tried to avoid. And there's also another show up on Polaris called Friend Zone, which ends up popping up every now and again and has a tendency to release its VODs on Friday. So about 8 hours of content on the hub on the Friday is incredibly stupid, so we are trying our best to actually avoid that one. If you do want to catch the VOD earlier, you do have the ability to do that now. We've enabled subscriber VODs over on the Twitch channel, which means that you can access any of the VODs earlier than you would be able to actually get them on the Polaris channel. It takes a bit of time to download the show, convert the show into a usable, editable format, slice out the breaks, run some compression passes and things like that. And unfortunately, that means that it does take until Thursday to actually get things done, but you can watch the show earlier if you miss it live, if you are a subscriber to the Twitch channel. So it's a little bonus for those who choose to go the extra mile to support us, and that's very much appreciated. So thank you for that. It really is very cool that you would choose to do something like that. If you missed the previous 2 episodes with JonTron and James Portnow of Extra Credits, I'd recommend you go and watch them because they were both really good shows. 3rd episode with just the 3 of us, probably not so much, but there you go. So let me tell you about something ridiculous, yeah? So, as many of you may be aware, I sponsor an esports team, yeah? I co-own it with my wife. She runs it, I sponsor it, I have a bit of influence here and there, try and help out where I can, but I provide most of the financial backing for the team, which involves paying for players a salary, as well as accommodation and travel. So, as you can imagine, it gets a bit costly. And one of the biggest costs of running a team like that is the actual international travel. They go to a lot of competitive events that are all over the globe, which means that someone's going to pay for the planes. They're certainly not free, so we pay for the flights to make sure that actually happens. But we ran into a really, really nasty situation lately, and I'd like to share it with you because I think that people need to be warned about this. So, as you're probably aware, there are various sites dedicated to searching and aggregating and allowing easy booking for various flights. That includes stuff like Expedia, it includes stuff like Travelocity, and in this case, Kayak. So, we had two separate bookings, yeah? We had a bunch of bookings through Travelocity, and the reason for that was that we were sending our players over to WCS America, which is in LA, and our guys live in South Korea, so obviously it's a fairly lengthy flight, so we booked some flights through Travelocity for that. And then we needed to figure out flights to DreamHack Bucharest, which is, of course, in Romania. And we decided to do a booking there, and we looked at the airlines. It looked like Qatar Airlines was the best bet. Unfortunately, Qatar doesn't let you book directly with the actual airline itself, unless you happen to be one of the ones traveling, which we weren't. So before you suggest, oh, you should have just booked it directly, in that case we actually couldn't. So what we did was we booked through Kayak, who are also apparently associated in some way with Travelocity, because we got the bookings through and it said Kayak for Travelocity or something along those lines. So we thought it was all done and dusted. We booked these tickets around the 2nd of August, everything seemed to be absolutely fine. And then things went not fine. Firstly, Kayak decided to cancel all of our flights to Bucharest. All of them, just out of the blue. We got an email at 4:50 a.m. that said, your tickets have been cancelled. We then got an email a minute after, and I am not joking here, actually a minute after, that said, we require additional details to release the funds. I was like, but you just cancelled it. I'm pretty sure that's not going to help. So we ring them up and say, all right, can we give you the additional details, get sorted out? I was like, no, sorry, the tickets have been cancelled. There's nothing we can do. So, of course, we had to rebook the flights at significantly higher cost. And we got screwed over royally in that respect. But it gets better. That wasn't the only thing. The two flights that we booked to America for World Championship Series, our guys got to the airport and were then told that the tickets were void. Yes, the tickets were void. This, of course, being 45 minutes before the cutoff time for check-in, saying, yeah, the tickets are void. So they frantically call us. At this point, it's 2 a.m. for me. I have to wake Jen up and say, we've got to do something about this right now because our guys are going to be stranded otherwise and they might forfeit the tournament. That's a huge amount of money for them, and it would be crushing because they'd be thrown back into the previous league, which is way harder to get out of, and our sponsors would be unhappy. Yeah, it would just be a disaster for the team. So we call them up, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. We'll refund the amount in 5 business days. They'd actually taken the money to the tune of God knows how many thousands of dollars. And the missus is not happy about this. I take the phone off and I go off on them because I've just had enough of this nonsense. It's actually kind of incredible that people can screw this up so badly. And they're like, oh, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, but you will put me through to your manager then, and I will speak to her. Please hold. 10 minutes on hold, then we cannot connect you. Please try again later. Hang up. Yeah, I kid you not. So, at last minute, we booked directly through United to the tune of about $2,000 more than what these tickets actually cost us. So, why am I telling you this? Because I am warning you against these sites. Seriously. Kayak and Travelocity's customer service is abysmal. They seem to have no problem taking money and then claiming, oh, the bank couldn't release the funds. My bank account very clearly states that they could, and it's in your bank account right now. Well, it'll take us 5 business days to refund it. That's like $6,000 of flights. Most people don't have that kind of money to throw around. You're screwing with people's lives here. Now, Kayak, for the most part, is used just to look through flights and basically as a search engine, but lately they've been using themselves as a booking agency more and more and more, and Travelocity appears to be backing them in some respect. Please, for the love of God, do not use these services. I beg you, because you will get screwed the same way that we did. I've had so many people tell me horror stories about Travelocity, Kayak, and other services like that as a result of this, saying, oh yeah, this happened to you? Yeah, it took a couple of months, this happened to us too. They had the audacity to claim, oh yeah, we contacted you about the cancellation. They didn't. There was not a single thing there. They had the audacity to claim, well, the bank couldn't release the funds when the funds had very clearly gone out of the bank. And then after that, they said, yeah, it'll take us 5 business days to refund you. Really? You can take money from my bank instantly, but you can't give it back? disgraceful. The customer service from both of those has been absolutely diabolical, and I would wholeheartedly recommend that you never do business with them, because the way that they treated us was an absolute disgrace, and we are out thousands of dollars as a result of those arseholes. So, yes, there you go. A warning has been given. Usually I try and protect you from bad games. Today I would like to try and protect you from bad travel agencies. Alright, so what else is going to be happening, you might ask, over the course of this month? Because it's PAX month. So towards the end of the month, we will be heading to PAX Prime in Seattle. We will be using the new coverage format that I talked to you about, and that I basically did a huge survey of the viewer base to figure out what exactly we're going to do. So we'll see whether or not you guys were lying. Hopefully you weren't. And that will be at the end of the month, and we'll also be doing a live co-optional podcast from there, so if you happen to be coming to PAX, then you can come and say hi and watch the live podcast. If not, we'll release the VOD for free, as always, via the usual methods. But there's a couple of other things that are going on that I'd like to make you aware of. The first thing being that myself and Angry Joe will be going at it once again in a MechWarrior game. This time, it's actually going to be MechWarrior Online. We're going to be doing a 12 versus 12 in that game, which is a new game mode that is coming in your general direction. I'm looking forward to that. I like MechWarrior a lot. I've been into MechWarrior ever since MechWarrior 2. I believe I actually bought the Saturn version of that instead of the PC version, which was pretty dumb, and then I bought MechWarrior 3 with the Pirates Moon expansion and just rocked out. It was absolutely fantastic. So I'll be going at that. Unfortunately, I did lose my MechWarrior Tactics battle, but I call hacks, so I think I'll do a little bit better in MechWarrior Online. As to when that's happening, well, that is scheduled to be occurring on the 15th of August, and that'll be a live stream on twitch.tv/TotalBiscuit, and then the VODs will be posted on the 19th, that being a Monday, so you should be able to watch those. That should be pretty entertaining. I'd also like to let you know about the next episode of Roleplay Dark Heresy, which will be coming your way. That's a show hosted on youtube.com/itmejp. I put the first hour of it up from the first episode just to kind of get you into it, but you do need to go and subscribe to his channel if you want to get the rest. We've had to have a couple of weeks off because our DM has been out of the country, but he is back. We are tentatively scheduling the next session of this for the 24th of August at 1 p.m. EDT. That is the 24th of August at 1 p.m. EDT, which would be 6 in the British Isles, 7 Central European time. If you happen to be on the West Coast, you're looking at 10 a.m. And that will be live streamed over on twitch.tv/itmejp and VODed on youtube.com/itmejp. It's a really fun experience for us playing the Warhammer 40,000 pen and paper, and I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more of it and hopefully blowing up my team in the name of the Omnisire. I would also like to share some fairly exciting news, the fact that I actually do have a press copy of Saints Row 4, weeks in advance, which is highly unusual, but I do have it, which means I should be getting a lengthy video ready for you by the time that the embargo actually lifts. Since that's kind of in a state of flux right now, since it's so early, I will keep you posted as to the embargo date and time on that one, so you can get a good impression of the Saints Row 4 game before choosing to put down your money upon it. Every time we get a AAA title this early, I always like to say, hey, hopefully this is the start of a new thing, and it inevitably isn't, because unfortunately, some publishers play ball and some don't. Some recognize the importance of YouTube and some absolutely detest it, so it's kind of potluck with this kind of stuff. But yes, I will have a Saints Row 4 video for you, hopefully before release. Alright folks, I think that pretty much wraps up what I want to talk about for today. Thank you very much for watching this vlog, which should be back on regular schedule fairly shortly, and I'll see you next time.